The Andy Griffith Show was way more than a classic television series. It captured the warmth of small-town life, timeless friendships, and the simple moments that families still cherish today. But over the years, the actors behind those familiar faces took very different paths. Some had incredible careers, while others have sadly passed away. Today, we are looking back at the cast then and now, remembering the beloved stars whose legacy continues to bring smiles to generations of fans. Frances Bavier, born on December 14, 1902, became the heart of Mayberry when she stepped into the role of Aunt Bee Taylor on the show at 57 years old. As the warm, caring aunt who raised Opie alongside Sheriff Andy Taylor, Aunt Bee stood for the kindness, wisdom, and comforting values that made the show a favorite for millions of families. Her gentle spirit and total devotion turned the Taylor home into one of television's most welcoming places. Hear that Bavier brought such real authenticity to every scene, making Aunt Bee feel less like a character and more like a beloved family member. Whether cooking meals or offering heartfelt advice or quietly keeping the household together, she gave the show its deep emotional warmth. Her unforgettable performance earned massive admiration, helping define the wholesome spirit that still draws viewers in decades later. Frances Bavier's extraordinary life ended on December 6, 1989, when she passed away at 86 years old after battling congestive heart failure and coronary artery disease, along with complications from cancer. Over 65 years after audiences first visited Mayberry, Aunt Bee remains one of the most cherished mother figures in television history. Don Knotts, born on July 21, 1924, became a comedy legend, playing Deputy Barney Fife on the show at 36. Nervous, overly confident, and endlessly lovable, Barney's hilarious misadventures made him one of the greatest sitcom characters ever created. Despite his clumsy attempts to prove himself as Mayberry's deputy, his loyalty to Sheriff Andy Taylor and genuine desire to protect the town made audiences adore him. Knotts possessed an incredible comedic timing that elevated every episode. His expressive reactions, unforgettable one-liners, and brilliant physical comedy earned him multiple Emmy Awards for his performance. Barney Fife wasn't just comic relief, he was the soul of the show's humor, and a huge reason generations of fans keep returning to Mayberry. Don Knotts' remarkable career ended on February 24, 2006, when he died at 81 from complications of lung cancer and pneumonia. More than 6 decades later, Barney Fife remains one of the most iconic comedy characters in television history, ensuring Don Knotts' legacy keeps bringing laughter to audiences around the world. George Lindsey, born on December 17, 1928, won over TV audiences as the lovable mechanic Goober Pyle on The Andy Griffith Show. Joining the series at 36 years old, Lindsey made Goober one of Mayberry's most loved characters with his cheerful optimism, unmistakable laugh, and kind-hearted nature. Though often seen as simple and absent-minded, Goober's honesty and loyalty made him someone the town could always trust. Lindsey possessed a remarkable gift for making every scene memorable. His effortless humor and genuine warmth perfectly matched the welcoming vibe that defined Mayberry, helping Goober become way more than a supporting character. Viewers quickly embraced him as an essential part of the community, and his popularity lasted long after the original series ended. George Lindsey's incredible life ended on May 6, 2012, when he died at 83 after a short illness complicated by heart failure. More than 65 years after audiences first discovered Mayberry, Goober Pyle remains one of the most beloved small-town characters in American television history. Howard Meir, born on January 27, 1905, became one of Mayberry's most recognizable faces through his portrayal of Barber Floyd Lawson on The Andy Griffith Show at 55 years old when the show premiered. McNear brought effortless charm, dry humor, and unforgettable wit to the town's friendly barber shop. Floyd wasn't just the man cutting hair, he was a trusted confidant whose conversations reflected the warmth and that tight-knit spirit that made Mayberry feel like home. Before joining the cast, McNear already had an amazing career in radio, film, and television. Even after suffering a stroke mid-series, that drive to keep acting won the respect of his co-stars and loyal fans alike. His quiet strength was just as inspiring as the character he brought to life. Howard Meir's incredible career came to an end in January 3, 1969, when he died at 63 following severe complications from a stroke. Decades later, Floyd Lawson still represents the friendly charm and simple times that made the show a treasured American classic. Tom Jacobs popped up on the show as both a local townsman and a grocer, helping build a cozy, small-town vibe that became one of the show's defining features. Though his roles were brief, characters like his maid Mayberry feel like a real community where everyone knew your name, every shopkeeper neighbor, and Passaby built the warm world that viewers loved returning to week after week. A massive strength of the show was how much attention it paid to normal, everyday life. Instead of focusing only on the lead characters, the series breathed life in the folks walking the streets and stores and hangout spots of Mayberry. Jacobs became part of that memorable cast, quietly bringing genuine authenticity to one of television's most beloved fictional towns. While we don't know much about Tom Jacobs compared to the main stars, his small parts are still stitched right into the show as massive legacy. Even fans still appreciate the background actors who helped turn Mayberry into a truly unforgettable television town. Anita Corsott, born November 3rd, 1933, brought real brains and warmth to the show as Helen Crump. Joining the cast at 30, she played Mayberry's sharp, caring schoolteacher. Her budding romance with Sheriff Andy Taylor grew into one of the show's most beloved storylines. Kindness, self-assurance, and independence made her a breath of fresh air, giving Andy a partner who kept him on his toes. Unlike typical television romances back then, their relationship grew naturally, making it easy for viewers to really care about them. Corsott's graceful acting gave Helen real depth, turning her into one of the show's most respected female characters. Her chemistry with Andy Griffith delivered some of the most touching moments on television. The actress ended her remarkable journey on November 6, 1995, when she passed away from cancer at 62. Well over 60 years after viewers first met Helen Crump, her beautiful performance remains a key ingredient in the warmth, heart, and lasting legacy of Mayberry. Andy Griffith, born June 1, 1926, became the face of American television when he debuted as Sheriff Andy Taylor on the show at 34. Cool, kind, and relying on common sense rather than a badge, Andy built a totally unique television hero. As Mayberry's respected sheriff and Opie's devoted dad, he proved that being patient and kind got things done just as well as throwing your weight around. Griffith's understated style became the show's heartbeat. Giving quiet advice, settling town disputes, or just hanging out with family, he made Sheriff Taylor feel incredibly real. That easy chemistry with the whole cast helped turn the series into one of the most beloved sitcoms ever, shaping decades of family television. Andy Griffith's incredible journey came to an end on July 3, 2012, when he passed from a heart attack at 86, more than 6 decades after Mayberry first welcomed us. Sheriff Andy Taylor remains a timeless symbol of wisdom, compassion, and the enduring values that still inspire people today. Meanwhile, Hal Smith, born August 24, 1916, thrilled audiences as Otis Campbell, Mayberry's lovable town drunk. On the show, only 43 when the series kicked off, Smith took what could have been a cheap joke and built one of television's most unforgettable characters. Otis' habit of locking himself in the jail after a long night of drinking became a running joke. Decades later, fans still remember it with a smile. Beyond his on-screen success, Smith had an incredible career as both an actor and a voice performer, lending his unmistakable voice to tons of animated classics. That versatility let him jump from live-action comedy to cartoons, winning over generations of viewers. Otis Campbell remains one of his most iconic roles. Hal Smith's journey came to an end on January 28, 1994, when he passed away at 77 from heart failure. More than 60 years later, Otis Campbell still brings the gentle humor and charm that made Mayberry feel like home to millions. Jack Dodson, born on May 16, 1931, became a beloved face on The Andy Griffith Show as the unforgettable Howard Sprague. He joined the cast at 33, introducing viewers to Mayberry's polite county clerk. He was shy, well-mannered, and his occasional lack of confidence led to some of the show's best moments. That quiet determination made Howard one of the town's most relatable residents. Over time, Dodson gave the character real depth, letting fans watch him step outside his comfort zone. His gentle comedy fit right in with Mayberry's vibe, making every scene feel genuine and warm. People loved Howard because he represented the regular folks who gave the town its heart. Jack Dodson's incredible journey ended on September 16, 1994, when he died from liver failure at 63. Decades later, Howard Sprague remains one of the show's most cherished characters. His kindness and humility still capture the heart of Mayberry. Hope Summers, born on November 30, 1896, brought warmth and sweet humor to the screen as Clara Edwards. Joining the show in her mid-60s, Summers quickly became one of the town's most familiar faces. Beloved for her cheerful energy, Clara's warmth perfectly captured the welcoming spirit that made the show feel like home. Thanks to her decades of experience, she had an effortless way of making every scene feel real, whether she was helping with a town event or talking to Aunt Bee and her neighbors. She brought a genuine warmth to the cozy atmosphere of Mayberry. She proved that even the smallest roles can leave the biggest impact. Right there, Hope Summers' journey ended on June 17, 1979, when she passed from cancer at 82. Over 60 years since the show first aired, Clara Edwards is still remembered as one of those friendly faces who made Mayberry television's ultimate small town. Betty Lynn, born on August 29, 1926, charmed everyone as Thelma Lowe, joining the cast when she was 34 years old. Playing Barney Fife's patient girlfriend, Thelma Lowe brought a sweet grace and quiet confidence to town. Her relationship with Barney showed a much softer side of the nervous deputy, creating one of the show's most beloved romances. They shared so many great moments. Lynn had a natural elegance that matched the humor of the show. Instead of chasing the spotlight, she let her character's pure kindness shine. Her on-screen chemistry with Don Knotts became a huge part of why the show worked so well, making audiences truly care about the local folks. Betty Lynn's long journey ended on October 16, 2021, when she died of natural causes at 95. More than 6 decades since the show first invited us into Mayberry, Thelma Lowe still stands for loyalty, sweet romance, and the timeless charm that keeps drawing in new generations. Howard McNear, born on March 1, 1904, played Emmett Clark near the end of his incredibly long career. Joining the show in his early 60s, McNear brought decades of top-tier experience from vaudeville, theater, film, and television. As the friendly local repairman, Emmett quickly became a reliable face in town, loved for his practical advice and easygoing style. Hartman was incredibly versatile, moving easily from comedy to music and heavy dramatic roles during his time in the spotlight. On The Andy Griffith Show, his quiet humor and down-to-earth delivery blended right into the cozy town people loved. Emmett captured the blue-collar spirit of small-town America, making the whole show feel way more realistic. Paul Hartman passed away on October 2, 1973, losing his battle with liver failure at 69. Yet even today, Emmett Clark stands out as a beloved resident who made Mayberry feel like a real home, full of unforgettable folks. Mary Lansing played Martha Clark on the classic show, sharing the screen with Paul Hartman. Emmett as one of Mayberry's sweetest married couples. Her warm energy and effortless style fit right into the episodes, helping shape the cozy, welcoming vibe that made the small town so special. Lansing still brought that genuine neighborhood feel that fans cherish to this day. A huge reason for the show's lasting success was its incredible lineup of background actors. Every local store owner, neighbor, and visiting relative shaped a world that felt completely real, making folks at home feel like they knew everyone. Lansing's performance as Martha captured that exact spirit of kindness and small-town warmth that defined the entire TV series. While we don't know much about Mary Lansing's private life compared to her famous co-stars, her brief appearances remain a beloved part of a classic sitcom enjoyed for over 60 years. She helped protect that timeless, cozy magic that makes this town feel like home. Richard Keith was born on April 1, 1953, and landed the role of Johnny Paul Jason on the show when he was only 7 years old, as one of Opie Taylor's absolute best buddies. Johnny Paul was a constant in those classic childhood adventures, adding a sweet dose of youth and innocence to stories about growing up in a tight-knit American town. His natural acting made the kid characters feel authentic, letting the audience see this cozy world through a child's eyes. The classic scenes alongside a young Ron Howard felt incredibly genuine, always reminding everyone why this legendary television series appealed equally to kids and parents alike. Nostalgia runs deep in those simple backyard moments, making them stand out highlights. Now Richard Keith is 73. Over 65 years after the sitcom first aired, his character Johnny Paul still brings back memories of those carefree childhood days that made this fictional town one of TV's most beloved places. Joseph Crean was born on July 15, 1883, playing a local townsman during the sunset years of a truly remarkable run in Hollywood. Already 76 when the pilot aired, Crean brought over 40 years of film experience to the small screen, sharing scenes in hundreds of movies with the biggest actors in the business. Seeing his highly familiar face around town, Mayberry feel like a genuinely real place. Even in tiny roles, he represented those veteran actors who quietly anchored classic television with their seasoned talents. The show was absolutely brilliant at building a genuinely authentic small-town atmosphere, and seasoned character actors like Crean helped bring that warm vision to life. Every background face added to the cozy spirit viewers still treasure today. Joseph Crean's long journey ended on April 15th, 1966, when he died of a heart attack at 82. Over 65 years later, his presence is woven right into the timeless legacy of Mayberry, a spot that still feels like home to millions. Ellen O'Donoghue, born on April 19, 1937, became one of the show's first major leading ladies as Ellie Walker. She stood out at just 23. She brought to life Mayberry as smart, fiercely independent new pharmacist, sparking a sweet romance with Sheriff Andy Taylor that gave those early seasons so much heart. Ellie stood out as a modern woman whose confidence made her a memorable part of the show's early days. Donoghue's natural chemistry with Andy Griffith made their relationship feel real, helping build the gentle, heartfelt storytelling that defined the show for years. Even though her run on the show was pretty short, Ellie Walker remains a vital chapter in Mayberry's history, still fondly remembered by longtime fans today. Today, Ellen O'Donoghue is 89 years old. Looking back over 6 decades later, her graceful performance as Ellie Walker still reminds us why those early seasons of the Andy Griffith Show remain some of the most beloved in television history. Jack Burns, born on November 15, 1933, joined the show as Deputy Warren Ferguson at 31 years old, stepping into a massive role after Dunn Knott's departure. As Mayberry's new deputy, Warren brought a whole new energy to the office, giving folks fresh dynamic while keeping the show classic blend of humor and small-town warmth. Already respected as a brilliant comedian and writer, Burns took on the character with real confidence and professionalism. Though Deputy Warren only lasted for one single season, his run marked a major transition in the show's history. Fans still appreciate how hard it was to follow such a legendary character while bringing something fresh to the screen. Jack Burns' incredible career came to an end on January 27, 2020, when he passed away from natural causes at 86. Still, his time on the show remains a memorable part of its incredible journey through television's golden age. Meanwhile, Sheldon Collins, born on March 18, 1954, played Arnold Bailey on the show as a little kid, joining the beloved cast at just 6 years old. As one of Mayberry's kids, Collins helped capture that pure innocence and simplicity that defined the entire show. His performance brought real authenticity to the daily adventures happening around Sheriff Andy Taylor and Opie. One big reason the show still connects with people today is its incredibly heartfelt portrayal of childhood. Young actors like Collins helped build a believable community where friendships, family values, and life lessons felt completely real instead of written. Those moments are still some of the most nostalgic, emotional scenes in the series. Now 72 years old, Sheldon Collins remains part of a timeless classic, keeps finding new fans decades. After it first aired, his role is a great reminder of the talented young actors who helped make Mayberry one of the most beloved fictional towns in TV history. Joseph Hamilton played one of the local townsmen on the show, helping build that cozy, small-town atmosphere that became the show's greatest strength. Even with a limited role, every single resident helped build a believable world around Sheriff Andy, Aunt B. Barney, and the rest of this unforgettable town. This incredible focus on everyday life is exactly what has kept the show timeless for generations of fans. Unlike so many TV shows that only cared about their main stars, this classic show gave real personality to every corner of Mayberry. Every character passing through the courthouse, the general store, or the town square made Mayberry feel real and incredibly welcoming. Hamilton's brief appearance became another small but meaningful part of that lasting legacy. Though we know very little about Joseph Hamilton's personal life or career, his contribution remains a piece of one of the most influential sitcoms in television history. 6 decades later, Mayberry still reminds us that even minor roles can help build something truly unforgettable. Rhonda Jeter also appeared as Karen Burgess on the show, joining the cast during its highly memorable run in the 1960s. Her role beautifully reflected the wholesome storytelling and relatable characters that helped transform Mayberry into America's absolute favorite fictional hometown. Even in a supporting role, Jeter added to the warm, family-friendly vibe that set this show apart from other TV comedies of the era. One big reason the show has stayed popular for over 60 years is its absolutely remarkable lineup of guest performers. Every new face brought fresh stories and dynamics while keeping that gentle humor that audiences always cherished. Karen Burgess became another familiar face, whose presence truly enriched the daily life of Mayberry. Since we do not have much verified public info on Rhonda Jeter's life and career, her legacy is mostly tied to her brief appearance on this classic sitcom. Fans rewatching the Andy Griffith Show still love the incredible supporting actors who made the town of Mayberry feel so warm and timeless. Next, Alan Melvin, born on February 18, 1923, played Hotel Detective Bartoli on the Andy Griffith Show at 37 years old. A seasoned comic and character actor, Melvin excelled at playing sharp, outspoken guys who stole every scene. His booming voice, sharp delivery, and perfect comedic timing made him one of television's go-to performers. Across a massive career, Melvin popped up in tons of classic sitcoms, always making a huge impact, no matter how small his part. His spot on the Andy Griffith Show really showed off the range that made him a favorite for television producers. Just a quick trip to Mayberry highlighted the charm and absolute professionalism he brought to every single gig. Alan Melvin passed away on January 17, 2008, losing his battle with cancer at 84 years old, over 65 years after the show first hit the airwaves. His performance stands out as part of a TV masterpiece that still keeps people laughing. Then there is Dennis Rush, born February 5, 1949, who became a familiar young face in Mayberry, playing the role of Howie Prout. Just 11 years old when the series started, Rush brought some genuine kid energy to the town's younger crowd. His natural acting captured that pure childhood curiosity, making those kid-centric storylines incredibly easy to relate to. Working right alongside some of television's absolute best actors gave young Rush a chance to help build an absolute classic family sitcom. Whether he was hanging out with Opie Taylor or chatting with locals, Howie became a vital part of that cozy, wholesome vibe that still draws fans in today. Now 77 years old, Dennis Rush is still warmly remembered by dedicated fans of the show. More than 6 decades later, his portrayal of Howie Prout still brings back the simple warmth and cozy charm that made Mayberry a true icon of classic American TV. Charles Thompson, born June 1, 1893, played Asa Breckenridge during the final chapter of an incredible, decades-long career that stretched from the silent movie era straight into the golden age of television. Already 67 when the show started, Thompson was highly respected as one of Hollywood's go-to character actors, working on hundreds of different movies and to TV shows. All those years of experience brought a genuine, quiet dignity to every single role. Though Asa Breckenridge was never a main character in town, Thompson's top-tier acting showed exactly why the show's supporting cast made the whole town feel so real. Seasoned actors like him brought the local townspeople to life, creating a tight-knit community that fans still love decades later. Every friendly face helped build that timeless vibe we all associate with the show. Charles Thompson's journey ended on July 10, 1980, when he passed away from natural causes at 87, more than 65 years since the series first introduced us to Mayberry. His work is still part of a television masterpiece that connects with people of all ages. Olin Soul, born February 28, 1909, played John Masters on the show at 51 years old, adding real brainpower, warmth, and classic professionalism to another beloved town resident. Long before he became famous for doing cartoon voiceovers, Soul had made a name as one of the most reliable character actors around, working on tons of dramas, sitcoms, and westerns in the 1950s and 60s. His easygoing screen presence and natural voice let him slide right into the cozy world of Mayberry. Whether he was acting on screen or working behind a microphone, Soul was incredibly versatile, winning over audiences and fellow actors every single time he performed. He brought a real sense of authenticity to Mayberry's unforgettable community. Olin Soul's long career ended on February 1, 1994, when he died of lung cancer at 84. Today, fans still celebrate his incredible body of work, remembering him as a quiet talent who helped shape classic American television. Ron Howard, born March 1, 1954, won America's heart as Opie Taylor when the Andy Griffith Show debuted in 1960, just 6 years old. Howard brought pure honesty and innocence to the screen, showing an emotional maturity way beyond his years. Playing Sheriff Andy Taylor's curious, kind-hearted son, Opie became the very soul of Mayberry, teaching viewers timeless lessons about family, friendship, and responsibility. And growing up through TV's most unforgettable moments, watching him mature season after season made audiences feel like they were growing up right alongside him. Howard's natural chemistry with Andy Griffith built one of television's greatest father-son dynamics, giving the show an emotional depth that still resonates over 6 decades. That incredible talent as a kid paved the way for a massive career, eventually turning him into one of Hollywood's most respected directors and producers. Today, Ron Howard is 72 years old, more than 65 years after millions first met little Opie Taylor. His performance remains one of the most beloved portrayals of childhood in TV history, making sure his legacy keeps inspiring generations of fans around the globe. Thanks for watching and remembering these legendary TV stars with us. Which cast member holds a special place in your heart? Share your memories below and make sure to like, subscribe, and join us for more timeless nostalgic journeys.